Greetings everyone, Core here. Time for another minute review, and this time saw Onward by Pixar, presented by Disney. uh, I gotta say, going into this movie, I wasn't expecting much. I was intrigued at the premise of it, and just, what exactly is gonna happen. Cause yeah, it's adventure kind of story. It's they're trying to complete the spell of bringing back their dad for one day, and that was pretty much it. But I think this is a good back to form for Pixar, being able to tell this story that is one thing, but also has a lot of other undertones and stuff. And I gotta say, it made me a little tearful. I guess because the subject matter is definitely more strikes home with me more probably than most people, but there are definitely many of us. So yeah, overall, I think it was really good. I was never really feeling bored about the whole movie. There was some really cool animation, some ideas, technology overtaking a magical world and modernizing, a fantasy land was pretty crazy looking. There were, I gotta say, the trailers did seem to spoil a bit, but overall, I think because they're out of context, once you see it in the correct order and the correct context, the movie, is really good. It's definitely not gonna be the weakest, definitely not the strongest, but definitely up there. I think, like I said, for people like me, you know, it definitely strikes a little more, that chord a little harder than the most average person. But yeah, man, it was a good movie. I liked it. Uh, Tom Holland and Chris Pratt. Uh, it's pretty much Spider-Man and Star Lord, magical adventure, and it's pretty hilarious. I mean, they do a very good job. The animation is interesting, just because it's almost a modern. This could easily be a live action movie. Maybe a couple of little parts here and there, but overall, yeah, it feels more live action, more human movements, I guess, because they are pretty humanoid. But of course, there are some that are not, and they're definitely over exaggerated by a lot. But more or less, all the humans move just like a regular person move. They have weight, they have movement, they have strength, the weakness, fatigue, and just energy behind them, and it's really nice to see. It kind of throws you off a little bit because you're like, I know this is animated, but it doesn't feel animated in certain parts. There are some parts, of course, it does feel animated. That weight kind of disappears for a few scenes, but that's how it needs to be. So overall, I do recommend it. Check it out. The kids seem to like it, at least the ones in the audience stuff. They seem to be interested enough in the movie, so that's pretty good for it. There is a short animation before the movie, just like most Pixar movies, which this one is actually a little surprise. From their acquisition from Fox, it was it was a Simpsons uh, animation short, which was pretty nice to see. A little, it threw you off a little because normally we see these really spectacular, uh, almost photorealistic, shorts sometimes from Pixar, and instead we get a, you know, movie quality animation, like the Simpsons movie quality animation and story, which is interesting. I just don't think Simpsons has it really that much anymore. They're really they've downgraded quite a bit. They've ran its course, about 10 years ago, 15 years ago by now. So it's a little rough for Simpsons, but overall it was a nice little short. Some people in the audience did like it, of course. you know, when you get those, um, when you get those reactions that are, out loud, gasp and ahs and oohs, you're doing something right. Which, yeah, that goes the same with Onward, which you do get a few of those, and everything worked. Everything worked really well. I was surprised. I even kind of sent a message out saying that it was better than I expected, and it was also unexpected. It had unexpected things that I just didn't see coming, and I loved it. Uh, but yeah, so that's that for Onward. Next movie should be something good. Hopefully, I forget, but uh, oh, what movie was it? It was just on top of my tongue. Uh, we'll find out. I'm pretty sure. Oh, Mulan, I think is the next movie, which not a Disney movie, so that one looks pretty good. For a remake, a live action remake, it's doing how a lot of the other live action remakes should have done, where it's expanding, it's developing, you know, the story better than originally, or at least adapting it to live action compared to you know animated. There's certain things you could and cannot do, and they're really taking it seriously. It's not a joke, like some of the live action movies. But yeah, it's got me intrigued. I'm looking forward to it. So here's hoping that's just as good as Onward, if not better. But besides that, see ya later, guys.